So our next presentation is Pathways Forward, Empowering Māori and Pasifika Workforce Futures. And for this we will hear from Koro Dickinson, who's the Chief Executive of Poutama Trust. Now Koro, of Ngāti Kahungungu, Ngāti Mamui and Ngāi Tahu descent, is a producer, a former diplomat, a respective governance leader with degrees in commerce, political studies and an MBA, currently based in Tamaki Makaurau. His leadership spans kaupapa Māori, creative and public sectors, and brings a wealth of insight to the work of Poutama Trust. Very welcome to Koro. Nau mai, haere mai. Thank you.
Ko kia ora koutou, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Ko waio, ko Koro Dickinson tako ingoa, he uri hau no Ngāti Kanuri ki te Wairua, kaitahu ka te māmoe hoki. He kai whakahaere mātua mā Poutama Trust taku mahi. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm really conscious of time and I want to be respectful for the next presenters, which I'm also personally interested in. So we might crack into it. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to try and figure out where my notes might be on these screens. Here we go. Great. It's lovely to be here with you all of what's left of 10 minutes of this morning. The purpose is to share the insights from a collaborative project. The collaborative project that resulted in the release of future-focused skills, growth opportunities for Māori and Pasifika in the green construction. Now this was commissioned by ourselves, Poutama, but also in conjunction with ConCOVE and Amotai. Just want to confirm, is anybody from Amotai in the room? Kei te pai. Well, I think it's just, I want to acknowledge both ConCOVE, so Catherine and the rest of the team, mihi atu ki a koe, koutou, also Amotai, and the who we commissioned to do the work was Height PM. Is anybody from Height here? No. Well, we acknowledge the insights and recommendations and the pathways that they had identified for Māori and Pasifika businesses. Before we move on, you're probably thinking, who's Poutama Trust? You might be Googling your phone going, Poutama Trust. Well, I'm just going to show a little video, it's less than a minute, and give you a bit of an insight of what we do. So hopefully the technicians at the back have programmed in this really, really well. Here we go.
Since 1988, Poutama has backed Māori business, helping Pakihi Māori grow and thrive. From capability funding to strategic innovation and building connections, we help whānau turn bold ideas into lasting impact. We are independent, apolitical and pan-iwi, working kanohi ki te kanohi with whānau, hapu and iwi. From buying a first camera to exporting to Asia, we've helped thousands of Pakihi Māori take the next step. At Poutama, we live our values: tangatiratanga, mōhiotanga, manaakitanga and whanaungatanga. Together, we're building a better future for generations to come.
So if you have any questions about our kaupapa and what we've been doing over the last 30 plus years, I'm more than happy to have a kōrero with you directly after this or in the lunch break. By a show of hands, can I just check in the room, based on the nature of your role or the organisation that you're with, how many of you engage with Māori and Pasifika workforce or businesses? Great. Awesome. So hopefully this report and its insights are going to be really relevant to you and your mahi and what you do. So I guess the question is, why did we undertake the report? And this was some of the points that kind of was our starting point in terms of why we wanted to commission, to understand what the pathways are for Māori and Pasifika workforce and businesses. It's even more important in the current environment, in the current economy that you're all well aware of, and the challenges and the obstacles that are in place for businesses in the industry and for our workforce. Just trying to find my notes. Here we go, okay. So just building on these points here, my notes is saying that Māori and Pasifika Pākehī make up significant players in the construction industry, but are often down the value chain. So with the industry shifting towards sustainability, digitisation, and also the new infrastructure that is required in Aotearoa, there's a real chance to reposition our Māori and Pasifika businesses into higher value spaces. In the Māori economy report, it's called Te Ohanga Māori, based on 2023 data, it has identified that Māori businesses in construction contribute to about 3 billion to GDP. So a significant part of the value chain and a contribution to the overall economy. Technicians, I can't see the rest of my notes on this, on the bottom of the slide. If I could see them, please. Kia ora. If you can roll them up. That's everything? Kapai. Anyway, in terms of the contribution of the businesses, the number of Māori and Pasifika businesses in the industry, we thought there was a good basis for trying to find and identify some really clear pathways for our workforce in the current environment. So the three commissioning agents, ConCOVE, Amotai and Poutama, we asked Height to identify what all the opportunities and what perhaps is available and of most significant for Māori and Pasifika businesses. So the starting point was quite broad. Through Height PM and their environmental scan, they actually identified up to 54 opportunities across green, digital and the circular economy construction in and across Aotearoa. And through some criteria-based and interviews with businesses, that was refined down to 4 priority areas which would be of greatest opportunity and greatest impact for the workforce and also for businesses. So these 4 are trenchless technologies, building information modelling, commercial energy retrofits and renewable energy installations. Can I just show by a show of hands of those in roles or in organisations that work in these spaces? Okay. Goodbye. A few. Well, these 4 were identified strongly with Māori and Pasifika strengths. We saw them as future-focused, scalable, and would allow incremental upskilling of workforces for businesses. So we'll move to the first one. Trenchless technologies. What the report and what the findings are saying is revolutionising the civils space. Repairing and laying underground pipes without digging trenches. That could be quite relevant in Wellington. When you see a lot of the orange cones on the way from the airport to here, the holes in the ground, the diggers out there pulling up pipes or new pipes going in. And also these massive investments in the Three Waters, and I'm confident that the next presenters will probably talk about that in a little bit more detail than I will today. So we think, the Pasifika and Māori firms can capture real value if they can build capability in the trenchless capability. When you think about that being an opportunity, what are the pathways to kind of build up the capability? The report was saying that, the New Zealand Certificate of Infrastructure Works or horizontal direction drilling micro-credentials might be good training opportunities to link to those opportunities. Second opportunity, BIM, clearly seen here is an opportunity for Māori and Pasifika businesses. The report was saying that this is the industry standard across Aotearoa, and there will be opportunities for subcontractors, for Māori and Pasifika subcontractors, meaning less waste, stronger coordination and competitive edge. So upskilling the trades, connecting the opportunity with the upskilling required, the report and the findings were suggesting that upskilling trades into BIM literacy could be transformational for workforce and for businesses. Opportunity 3, energy retrofits. Meeting climate goals isn't just about new builds, it's about transforming the existing stock, and I think the first point there kind of illustrates that, the opportunity there. Retrofitting commercial buildings is a massive growth market. Again, in Wellington, that's happening at pace and scale, not only because of earthquake standards, but for bringing them up to standard. And, a lot of Māori and Pasifika business have already strong foundations here. So again, connecting the opportunity with the skills that are required to leverage the opportunity, the report was telling us that the skills that are required would be, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, automation, getting your head around that, upskilling around being positioned well to undertake energy audits and smart systems in terms of installation and repair. The fourth opportunity identified in the report for Māori and Pasifika workforce and businesses was renewable energy installations. Consumer energy resources like solar batteries are in demand, and I can vouch for this. Having living in central Auckland, we've just installed solar. Means we are not reliant on the grid anymore. Actually, we're selling, maybe like many residential systems around the country, we're selling power back, and wanting to make our whare, our household, more resilient in the type of weather that we're receiving. So, I'm a consumer and I'm generating the demand for these types of services. With electricity prices rising, individual households, papakainga, so whānau housing, and marae are looking for energy dependence, just like I am for my own whānau. And this is absolutely a clear growth opportunity pathway for our whānau businesses. A lot of them are already in this space, and a lot of hapu, iwi and marae are advocating for it. So again, connecting the opportunity with the skills that might be required, the report was telling us micro-credentials. I'm not sure if anybody's here from the Sustainable Energy Association, but there was one example of the micro-credentials that could be available for the workforce to leverage opportunities in this space. So wrapping all that up, here are some shared barriers and enablers that would, and barriers that are currently in the way, but enablers that will make Māori and Pasifika businesses and workforce be able to make the most of these opportunities. And when it comes to the barriers, I believe, given our record of supporting Māori businesses, and a lot of them construction businesses over the 30 odd years, we can help them position to make the most of these opportunities. When I'm thinking of our Pasifika cousins, the likes of entities like the Pacific Business Trust, supporting Pasifika businesses across the country. They have a suite of supports, some of it financial, some of it non-financial, to help businesses make the most of these opportunities. When it comes to enablers, you're the enablers. When I asked that question before, how many of you work with Māori and Pasifika workforce or businesses? It's a big show of hands. So we are all the enablers of being able to ensure that Māori and Pasifika businesses and workforces can make the most and maximise these opportunities. So in summary, these opportunities aren't about just technical skills, they're about reshaping the industry and getting really laser focused about where those opportunities are. Of the 50 or so broad opportunities that were initially identified, down to 4. That's laser focus. And I'm hopeful that all of us can play and contribute to a part of shifting the dial so Māori and Pasifika businesses can make the most of these opportunities. Anyway, we're all into this together, e waka eke noa. Because, in the current environment, it's really, really challenging. We know a lot of construction businesses, I certainly do, Māori businesses across the country are really struggling, if not had to wind up business or had to put their business on pause. So that has a big impact on an economy, their community, their regional economy, their whānau. So we all need to be in this together to, wayfind all our Māori and Pasifika businesses in the construction sector to these opportunities. I'm confident, we're confident at Poutama that there's a bright future just around the corner for the sector. So let's ensure that Māori and Pasifika can participate and be involved on an equal footing to the opportunities that can be afforded to all of us. Kia ora, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Kia ora, thank you so very much. No, you're not over time. We were outside. A question, don't go away. I haven't seen any Slido questions. Are there? Nothing. I have a question for you, though. In terms of these opportunities, they take investment. What structurally needs to shift in order for that investment to be attractive?
In terms of investment into the skills?
Into the businesses, into the opportunities, which would be the pathway for the skills to come to fruition.
I would cheekily say, let's have a conversation about what type of support you need for your business to kind of find the space to develop your workforce and to invest in your business. We can do that through our financial and non-financial supports. But Poutama and I can vouch for Amotai and Pacific Business Trust out there. They're all well positioned to, build capability within Māori and Pasifika businesses, but also make sure that they can be sustainable and grow. And pick up the phone, pick up the email, get in touch and see how we can support you so you can make the most of these 4 opportunities.
Really cool. And then we just received another question. What can the education sector do to support these learnings?
That's a really good question too. I just think being open to maybe, perhaps, when it comes to wanting to engage with more Māori and Pasifika in the education sector, be really focused on the things that might develop them in the pathways that have the greatest opportunity and potential. Sometimes having too much selection and option out there can be more confusing, but if you can be really laser focused about where the right pathways are in the current environment and the current economy, how we can maximise their skill set, uplift them, for them to be successful, or businesses to be successful more generally. I think that's where the education can see. Be really laser focused where the opportunities are.
Hi. Kia ora. Kia ora. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much for sharing all of those insights. And I have a new favourite term, trenchless technologies. I am from Auckland.